Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sarah Lubratt. I'm sure you've already read the title of this video, so without further ado, like and subscribe and let's get into it. Alrighty, happy Monday. Today is January 8th. I have already done the majority of the freelancing that I need to do today. It's like 2 o'clock. I'm gonna head to the gym here soon, but I watched one of Sarah Sutton's videos earlier today, and I actually watched a couple of them, but she set a goal for the month of January to write 20,000 words every single week. And while that concept is terrifying, I am calling these vlogs Finish the Effing Book, Finish the Effing Draft. I still don't know what I officially call them, but writing 20,000 words in a week would get me a lot closer to finishing the effing draft. So I know that she didn't post it as like a challenge or anything, but I kind of want to try it. And because today's a Monday, it feels a little too perfect not to, at least like get it started. And I don't 100% remember, but I feel like she only works during like the weekdays, because in her video, she mentioned that she was trying to write 4,000 words a day in order to hit that 20,000 word goal, which I am much more flexible on my work schedule. I tend to work 7 days a week, just in varying capacities. And so if you break that weekly 20,000 words down to 7 days, it's like 2,800 and something. And I'm editing right now and not drafting, but I am rewriting chapters, so that'll have to be taken with a grain of salt. But theoretically, I am mostly editing right now. And I think I could edit 20,000 words in a week. And I hadn't let myself say that out loud yet until just then. Is that a little daunting? Yes, but this is a much lighter freelancing week than I normally have. So theoretically, I have the time to do it and I'm not having to prioritize other projects. So it could be done. I also have my writing group tonight and I have time before writing group. So theoretically, I will know by the end of today whether or not I think this is semi-realistic or not. Now I'm starting to freak out a little bit. So with that, let's go to the gym. I'm back from my workout. It went pretty well. It is now 3:33 and I'm gonna preface this with, I think of angel numbers in the same way that I think of like horoscopes, and it's, if you read something and it resonates with you, great, but they are very general, so like either take it or leave it kind of a thing. But I've been seeing a lot of 333 since New Year's, and I just saw it again because it was 333. And what Google says the 333 angel number means is it's encouraging you to set your plans into action and let your personal strength be the guide. Trust yourself and put thought into your choices, which just feels very accurate. So I'm going to take it as a little encouragement because it happens to resonate with me right now. I am sitting down to work on something. I haven't totally decided what, but some kind of writing something. I don't know if I'm going to work on drafting or if I'm going to work on editing DE, because I am kind of exploring tandem writing still. So I'll update you guys after the writing session. Well, I ended up writing 285 words for a new project that I started brainstorming the other day. I came up with a concept, I think, that I'm going to blend that with like, I don't know, a year ago maybe? But I have started kind of playing around with that idea a little bit. I was having a lot of ideas in the car like 2 days ago, so I was just writing some of those down. And then I ate lunch at like 5 p.m. and then I worked on editing a YouTube video. And then I went to my writing group, and now we are back from my writing group. I say we, it's just me. And now it's 11:25. I'm going to sit down and do some more editing. I have already gone over 2 chapters so far. One of them was incredibly short at 133 words. I know that that is crazy short. It works for the character. Just go with it. The second chapter, when I was done with my 2 passes, got up to 1,584 words. And then this chapter that I'm just starting is 1,300 words. So if I can finish this, I will hit my daily word count needed as day 1 of 7 for editing 20,000 words this week. I will say that it was rather disheartening. It's advice that I've heard a lot, but I was just on Instagram, you know, procrastinating and doing all those good things. But one of the things on my For You page was somebody that apparently had interned with a literary agent for like a year. And one of the tips for querying that she had in her caption were like 5 tips on querying for the first time. And of course, one of them said that word counts are pretty strict for debut authors because words take up more pages and pages cost more money. So if a publisher is not sure that you're going to sell books, they're not going to give you free rein on word count. And as somebody who's writing adult fantasy, the max word count for a debut novel is about 100,000 words. DE, as it currently stands, is 128,000 words, which means that I would have to cut out a little less than a third of this book, which feels insane, and I have no idea where or how that's gonna happen. I also don't know when that's gonna happen, but I have a very strong feeling it's not gonna be right now. I just finished my second pass of this chapter that I was editing. It started out at 1,301 words. After the first pass, I got it down to 1,242 words. And then after the second pass, I got it down to 1,154 words. I do think that I was being a little bit more strict on what I was cutting out because I just saw that reel on Instagram. But I also did the math as to what percentage I would need to cut out of this draft in order to get down to 100,000 words. And the answer is I would be able to keep 76%. Of this chapter, I just cut out 12. And in this overall draft, I would need to cut out, 22%, which is significant. We are talking, I mean, that's a fourth of the book. I really don't want to deal with that right now, but it might also help me with these last, 150 pages of editing. It might help me be a little bit more strict in my rewriting of the ending, just so that I can start cutting down on word count, and then I'm not sure when I'm going to end up cutting out the rest of the words needed to be cut out. Not sure how I'm going to discover which of the words need to be cut out, especially because I'm already well over halfway into this draft. But it's good to be aware of from somebody that has worked in publishing. Anyways, it's now midnight. I feel like I could keep going. My back is getting tired. I feel like in whatever position I sit or lay in to work on anything on my computer, my back starts hurting. I do have an office chair. I should probably use my office chair. Well, I didn't make it to my desk, but I am semi-sitting up now. I do think that it might be helpful for trying to cut out some words that I am cutting out a character. He's not like a super major character or anything, but I will take what I can get at this point. And I just finished up going over that chapter, and then the chapter underneath that was, again, about 100 words, which works for this part of the story. So all in all, considering the two chapters that were just about 100 words each, I edited 5 chapters today, which is definitely a lot and definitely feels very good to have completed. I'm going to add up my word count for all the words I edited today here in just a second, but my document is now at a clean 128,000 words. I also edited pages 277 to 289, and one of the girls in my writing group asked me how many pages I would accomplish if I were to edit these 20,000 words during this week, and it seemed like it shook out to be about 70 pages, which would put me at 110 pages from the end of this book, which would be such incredible progress. And so I would like to thank Sarah Sutton, Sara with an H, for making the video that was her goal. And I understand that editing 20,000 words in a week is much easier than drafting 20,000 words in a week. But thank you so much to Sara for this idea. I'm happy with how things are going so far, but now let's go ahead and add up how many words I edited today and or worked on, because I am going to include the 285 words that I used brainstorming for another project, but let's add those up. Okay, that is better than I thought I did. I thought I was going to be in the 3,000s, and I ended up with 4,130 words written/edited for the day, which puts me at a really good start for trying to edit 20,000 words this week. I also did the math that I ended up editing DE for about 3 hours today, which on a good day, I'll try to get between 2 and 3 hours of work done on DE, and so I'm feeling really good. This feels like a very strong start to the week. However, now it is 12:40, and while it's still a little early for me, I'm getting kind of tired and I would like to lean into that. I'm gonna go pop some melatonin, take a shower, and go to bed. It's January 9th. It's 11:34. I did the freelancing that I needed to do this morning, and then since this morning, I have been frozen between wanting to go to the gym and move around a little bit and wanting to go to the library. And so instead of actually doing either of those things, I have sat in my apartment and done very little. And I know that I need to do something. And so I'm going to start on this next chapter of Project DE. It's relatively short. It's under 1,000 words. I'm just going to knock this one out. And then I'm hoping that starting will then kickstart my urge to do more of this for the rest of the day. And I don't know if I should go for a walk or something, because I really feel like I need to get out of my apartment in some capacity. The lighting's really bad, but I'm currently laying on my bed. I did 30 30 minutes of editing, I ended up cutting out that chapter that I was sitting down to work on that was like less than 1,000 words, and I moved over the important paragraphs from that to the next chapter that person's POV has, which I think is the better way to do it, and it allowed me to cut out some words. However, we are now like half an hour from sunset, and I still am feeling like really lethargic and procrastinating, and so I think I'm gonna like go stand outside despite it being 35 degrees and just like maybe watch the sunset. It's later now. I have not done a whole lot, if I'm going to be completely honest, and so now we're going to sit down and write because it's almost 11 p.m. and I kind of want to go to bed. So let's get some more writing done so that I can log some kind of word count for today, and then probably a snack and then bed. Well, after not that long, maybe like 40 minutes of working on this today so far, this chapter specifically, which is like close to 5,000 words, I am now 2,200 words of the way through the first pass of this chapter. And earlier when I was feeling a lot of resistance towards doing anything, I was doubting whether or not I would be able to even get anywhere close to doing this chapter in one pass, as in like in one day versus today and tomorrow, or even today and the next several days. But it's 11:33 now. I'm gonna get up, have a snack, you know, stand up, stretch, do a little productive break, maybe wash some dishes, etc. And then I think I'm gonna come back and keep working on this chapter in hopes that I might be able to finish at least the first pass tonight. I don't know how late that would keep me up, but right now I'm open-minded. It's 1 a.m. and I just finished my first pass of this chapter. It went pretty well, and I'm kind of wondering if I should spend my time until 2 a.m. to do my second pass of this chapter so that I can call these words done for draft 6. I think I might have to. I didn't have to change that much. I did find myself like cutting more things out. I really do think that it was helpful that I saw that reel with like the literary agent tips yesterday. And I'm also really grateful that I saw Sarah Sutton's video about, you know, writing. I'm doing editing, but writing 20,000 words in a week. Just because I feel like I have gotten stuck at so many different points throughout draft 6. Partially just because I've been working on this project for forever. I've been working on DE for forever. I've been working on draft 6 for forever, it feels like. So it feels fun to have a different kind of challenge to be working towards, hence also what I named this series, which is Finish the Effing Draft, because I just wanted to call it something else to help me push through the end of draft 6. I think I'm going to move back to my desk in hopes for a little bit better posture, because the couch just is so comfortable. And I'm going to try to finish the second pass of this chapter so that I can mark potentially upwards of 5,000 words edited for today. I've noticed that I can get kind of like unnerved by how quiet my apartment is, especially at night. And there are a couple scenes in DE that are like a little spooky, and tonight was one of those scenes. And so when I'm working on a scene like that, I like to pull up one of my real-time writing sessions that I have up on YouTube just to like have typing noises in the back so that I'm not as freaked out about like sitting in silence in my apartment, because I can't listen to music with lyrics in it. If I'm listening to music without lyrics in it that are just more of like an ambiance thing, that's more of like a soundtrack thing, I get derailed if the music doesn't accurately fit like what is happening in the scene as I'm reading it. And so therefore just like background typing noises are super simple and just help me stay focused. That being said, it is now 1:46 in the morning and I did finish that second pass of this chapter. And I know that I've been doing second passes for almost every single chapter, if not 3 passes on each chapter here in draft 6. But I'm really glad that I did on this chapter, because as I've been cutting out one of the characters, not like a super main character or anything, but like, you know, present enough that they need to be removed because they no longer fit with how the story is going to end. I forgot several sentences that still had this character or mention of this character in them as I was going through the second pass. I believe that that was time well spent. Now I just need to tally up my word count so that I can figure out how many words I edited today. I also started highlighting some of the sentences in green because as I read them the first time, I was like, oh, I don't don't really know if that needs to be there. And then thankfully I didn't delete any of those, but as I went back through the second time, I was like, oh, that's foreshadowing. That definitely needs to stay in. So I'm glad that at least I don't think I got rid of any of that. Okay, so this chapter originally started with 4,574 words. Because I deleted like a 750 word chapter further up, and I moved the portions of that chapter down to this chapter that I was just finished up working on. This chapter originally started at 4,574 words, but because I moved several of the paragraphs from an earlier chapter that I pretty much just decided to cut out down to this chapter, that brought it up to about 5,000. So I got this chapter from roughly 5,000 words down to 4,486 words. Also, as I was working on this, I figured out a little bit more to the ending, like the new ending that I'm going to be rewriting at some point in time for this POV of the character that I was just working on. So then I went into that new ending document and I wrote some stuff down, and that was 183 words. And then the chapter that I basically cut out was 748 words, which means that today I edited 5,417 words, which means I'm almost at 10,000 for 2 days. That's kind of crazy. And granted, this chapter that I was going over today, I didn't have to change that much. It really was mostly just trying to cut down on word count a little bit and working on removing that character that I'm trying to take out of this POV. So I spent about 2.5 hours working on this today. Considering how much resistance I was feeling earlier towards doing anything, this is like mind-blowing. I'm very happy with how well that went today. But now it is getting to be far too late. I'm getting very tired and was really making myself push towards the end on that one. So I am going to call it a night here and get ready for bed. Okay, adding up these words can be a little difficult because I never know if I want to take like the starting word count or the ending word count. And so I think what I told you guys was the starting word count for the chapter that I deleted, but then the ending word count for the chapter that I just finished. So I'm going to go ahead and redo that math just to make sure that I got it right. So that's 748 plus 4,574 plus 183. Okay, the number that we're going with for tonight is 5,505 words, which is crazy. Happy Wednesday. Today obviously is Wednesday. That makes sense. It's January 10th. And I'm not sure how much writing / editing I'm going to be able to get done today because the thing that I am prioritizing today is my first ever attempt at a long run. I'm currently training for something. The first time that I ran 1 mile straight in like years was December 30th. And now I've like fully committed to training for something. So I just got back from the grocery store, picked up some of these because I've heard that you need to like fuel on longer runs. And so that's how I'm probably going to spend like my next 2 hours is on the treadmill because it's way too cold to do it outside. And I'm really excited to see how this goes. Okay, my first ever long run has been completed. I did it on the treadmill and I got really frustrated because I was so close to hitting 6 miles and the treadmill decided to shut off at 97 minutes. So I just started for another 3 to officially hit 6 miles. And then I was bummed because my watch died and the treadmill restarted. And so I didn't get any of like the satisfaction of seeing like 6 miles other than like as I was tracking in my notes. Going into today, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to edit or if I was even going to want to edit my book. And now that it's 1:11 in the morning, I am very okay with the fact that I didn't write or edit or work on my project today. I got just under 10,000 words done in the past 2 days, and going into today, my focus was on my long run. And I do feel really, really good about how that went. And then I got sushi and I played video games with a friend of mine. And then I just finished scheduling my second episode of this vlog series on YouTube to go live tomorrow morning. And so I think with that, I'm just gonna let myself go to bed. Happy Thursday, January 11th. 11th already? It feels kind of crazy, but okay. I just booked my birthday trip and I'm very excited about it. I've already gotten a good number of things done so far today. It's, wow, 2:15-ish, and I'm about to head to the gym. It felt really good to take yesterday off of writing and just kind of alleviate that pressure on myself, but it also makes me really excited to get back to writing today. So I'm gonna go to the gym first, and then I think I'm gonna be able to get a lot done with writing and editing later today. After my workout, I decided decided to lean into the momentum that I was feeling, and I went ahead and spent some time cleaning and collapsing boxes and just trying to like tidy up my space a little bit, and that has helped with my mental clarity for the last couple of hours. I have just been getting like random to-do list items done, which has felt really good, and now it is 7:45, and because I'm an adult, I am going to make pancakes for dinner. It's also probably going to be a snack. I do have leftovers in the fridge that I'll probably eat later, but I definitely want something sweet right now. I'm gonna make 2 types of pancakes because obviously this is what you guys are here for. I'm gonna make chocolate chip, and then I'm gonna make banana walnut. I have never had banana walnut pancakes before, but my parents really like them, and I honestly just want to like make them so that I know what they're ordering when they're ordering that at restaurants. And as I'm making pancakes here, I am listening to the BBC Maestro class that I'm currently taking and will hopefully be reviewing in the next couple of days because I am getting closer to being done. I am currently on lesson 16 of 23. Okay, I made 1 banana walnut pancake because I'm not sure it's the flavor profile that I want for tonight, but I am curious as to how it's going to taste just because I'm like such a die-hard chocolate chip pancake person, which I am genuinely curious if you guys want to leave a comment down below on what your favorite kind of pancake is, if you're a purist, if you just like pancakes, or if you like a blueberry or a chocolate chip or something, or if you're one of those people that has very strong opinions about like waffle versus pancake. I think I'm pretty 50-50. Pancakes are just so much easier to make from scratch and like at home, but if I was out and had the option for like a vegan waffle, I'd probably lean in that direction. So let's try and find a spot that has both some syrup on it. Yes, I want to use this plate for other stuff. Okay, so that was just a banana bite. Now we're gonna go for a walnut bite. Honestly, that's better than I thought. I think the walnuts really balance it out. If I was hoping for a less sweet pancake than like my chocolate chip filled ones, I would probably lean in this direction. This also makes the pancake feel significantly healthier than it is. But that was an interesting experiment. I'm glad I tried it. So now that I tried that, we are fully switching over to what I was originally planning on doing, which is chocolate chip pancakes with maple almond butter and some coconut whipped cream. And I kind of eat them like a taco if it chooses to bend. This one is getting weird. Kind of like that. So the chapter that I was working on today started out at like 4,101 words, I believe, and it is now 1 a.m. and I just finished my first pass of this chapter, which feels really good. This is the chapter, and I didn't realize this until I was like halfway through this chapter, but this is the chapter where cutting out this character that I've been trying to like remove the past couple episodes. I like calling these vlogs episodes, that's fun. This is the chapter where that actually matters and where that plot point with him in it like comes into effect. This one and the next one. And so this chapter's taken me a little while because I'm really having to like phrase it correctly to make sure that everything's proper and like how I intend it. But because it's 1 a.m, I'm currently battling with whether or not I want to keep going and do my second pass and then be done with this chapter and be able to say that I edited like another 4,000 words today, or if I should call it and go to bed because I need to be up and a functioning human being to go hiking tomorrow. I know which one is the smarter decision, and I know which one I would rather do, and I don't know. This chapter's like 11 pages. How fast do we think I can read 11 pages? Maybe this will only take me like half an hour and then it'll be 1:40 and that's still like the normal time I get ready for bed. I think I need to stop questioning this so much and just like make a decision. So I'm going to start rereading for past 2 of this chapter. Okay, well, it's a good thing I'm doing this because I've already come across several sentences that still had the character that I'm trying to cut out in them. It's now 1:43. I still have like 3 more pages, but I am realizing that cutting out this character that I've been trying to cut out for the past couple episodes of Finish the Effing Draft was absolutely the right decision because it makes this plot point stronger because of how I needed to change it. And I wouldn't have been able to come to that conclusion unless I'd tried to cut out this character. It's now 2 a.m. I'm not surprised, but I am glad that I finished the second pass of that chapter. I brought the chapter down from 4,101 words down to 3,434 words, which means that I cut out 667 words, which feels really good. I do feel like this part of the story is going to be much tighter. I feel like the way that I had to change this plot point because I was cutting out this character is also going to help me cut down on word count towards the end and how I'm choosing to rewrite the ending, which is then beneficial as I'm trying to cut this thing, you know, theoretically down to like 100,000 words instead of 130,000. We're now at 126-ish thousand, which is progress. I think I started this draft at 133, so at least that's moving in the right direction. Something I did want to note, because I feel like somebody out there is going to get a kick out of this, is that I have been making a list for more things that need names. A couple months ago, it took me far too many weeks to rename like 12 names in my book, and not even rename. I think I renamed 3 of those 12. The other 9 were just brand new names because I hadn't named anything in this book. And now, of course, as we're getting further into the book, because that was in the first 50 pages, now I'm getting to all the other things that need names. So I am making a list, which means that at some point I will need to do another naming session. So now I'm technically on the 4th day of my week of trying to write 20,000 words, or edit, for me, 20,000 words within this week, and I'm at 13,736 words, and I have 3 more days that I can finish editing the rest of the 20,000. So I would say I'm doing really, really well. Tomorrow is going to be rather busy, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get much done, but I'm still going to try to do a little bit. But I would say that I'm feeling very good about this. I really appreciate Sarah Sutton for making that video that this was her goal, because it has just helped to reframe and break down my larger goals of, oh, I want to finish the effing draft, hence, you know, the titles of my recent vlogs, into like a, oh, 20,000 words is a stretch for me, but like I can do it if I actually sit down and do it. And I have been, and I feel really, really good about that. So with that, I'm sure I will see you guys on the hike tomorrow. Alrighty, now it's Saturday, January 13th. It is currently 11:45 p.m. I have not talked to you guys in 2 days. Yesterday, I did end up going for a hike. Some parts of it were definitely fun, and some parts of it were definitely type 2 fun. Here's a video clip where I'm not gonna cut out the sound just to show you guys what the wind was like. Parts of it were fun and parts of it were not fun because it was very cold and very windy. We ended up doing like 6.6 miles in 3 hours or something like that, and I did end up having a lot of fun, but I was also very cold and just like ready to turn around and go back to the car. But like I said, today is Saturday. I have today and tomorrow to finish my 20,000 word goal. I think I have just over 6,000 more words that I'm going to need to complete as a part of that. And so even though it's almost midnight, let's start writing. Or editing, I think, because I think the next chapter I'm working on is editing a chapter and not rewriting a chapter. All right, y'all, big things are happening. It's 1:22 in the morning. I just finished my first pass of this chapter that I was working on. It started out at 3,300 words. It's now at 2,700 words, you know, roughly. We're not going to do exact word counts tonight. And this is the chapter where this POV now changes for the rest of the ending, which feels really cool. But I'm also having the thoughts of, oh, that means that I have to then, you know, I knew this, but I didn't know where it was going to start happening. But because this is now going in a different direction, like completely, the rest of the chapters that I have in this POV will no longer do the right thing. They won't even be in the right place, like situationally in my story. I know that's not a tonight thing, but for this character, for the rest of the ending, I need to rewrite their chapters. And I think that that's going to help significantly with the story. I also think that's going to help with cutting down on word count. I do think that this chapter might have been the last chapter with the guy that I was cutting out of the story. And that's kind of where this chapter or storyline was going to converge, is when things come together. Diverge? I really hope diverge is the word. But basically, the character that I was cutting out and the character whose POV this is, we're going to split apart and go do like 2 different things. However, now instead of this character doing this thing, this is the character that I removed threw out the window. And now it's this character who is no longer doing this thing, but needs to come over and do this thing because this original character is no longer doing that thing. I hope that makes like any kind of sense. It does for me, which is good because I suppose that's all that matters right now. But it is making the idea of the new writing that I'm going to have to do feel pretty daunting. And I did go ahead and start brainstorming for how this POV is now going to end in a recent Finish the Effing Draft episode. But now that we're here, it feels like a lot, but I kind of just need to tell myself that that doesn't matter right now, and I can just focus on doing my second pass of this chapter, and then I can go to bed. And then future Sarah will deal with it, she will handle it, and she got this. It is now 2:24. I just finished up my second pass of this chapter. I ended up bringing it down to 2,708 words, which means that I cut out 656 words. But for the sake of trying to edit 20,000 words in a week, I edited 3,364 words today, because that is what the chapter stood at before I started editing. And I spent 2 hours and 5 minutes working on this tonight, which is pretty good considering that I didn't start until just about midnight. And I just added up where I'm sitting at for the week. I'm currently sitting at 17,100 words written/edited, which is really solid. And considering that I have one more day to hit 20,000 words, that just means that I have to do just under 3,000. Yeah, 2,900. I think I'm gonna hit that no problem. That's really exciting. It might get a little more interesting because I might have to just write 2,900 words tomorrow because I might be out of chapters that I can edit, which is kind of crazy. So I might need to invest a little bit more time tomorrow into this endeavor, but that's good to know going into it, and I'm excited to hit this goal. This is one of those things where I started the week and I was like, yeah, it's probably not gonna happen, but you know, shoot for the moon. And I might actually hit it, and I do very strongly believe the majority of that reason is because I'm editing and not drafting. Drafting 20,000 words in a week would be so many words and so much time put into writing, but editing 20,000 words in a week seems to be going pretty well for me so far. Okay, so I made a mistake. We're gonna say that it's still January 14th, even though it's after midnight, so like technically January 15th. But the mistake that I made was re-downloading, I haven't had this game in years, but re-downloading Words with Friends to play with somebody hours ago. Like hours ago. And so now it's 12:25 and I still want to write or edit 2,900 words tonight. Was that a mistake? Yes. Okay, that's a little misleading. I did do some work stuff. I worked out today, and then I had dinner plans and I went and saw a movie, and then it was after the movie when I got home at like 10:30 that somebody asked me if I would download Words with Friends, and so that's what I did. So I just finished my first pass of this chapter and I started my second read through it. And now I think I'm deciding that I'm not going to do a second pass on this right now because this POV is the one that I am rewriting like middle chapters for. And if I were to make some changes in this chapter, I would be unaliving a character. And I think that that could be really fun, which sounds awful, but I really don't like the character. But I also kind of need to finish rewriting those earlier chapters, which I haven't because I'm kind of skipping around as I'm doing this. But I think I need to finish those earlier chapters before I can finish this one. So I think I'm just going to move on to the next chapter in the third POV, where I'm pretty much not doing any rewriting in this pass for that character, because that I can actually edit and consider done when I'm done editing those chapters. It's 1:43. I'm done. I finished it. I'm going to allow the one pass of that chapter that I was working on earlier because I really won't know whether or not I want to cut out that character until I finish rewriting her earlier scenes. But with that chapter, I wrote 93 words for something. But counting that chapter, counting 93 words written for the re-outlining of the ending, 423 words in a really short chapter and 507 words in a really short chapter, I edited 3,107 words today. In an hour and 15 minutes, it was a little half-assed, but now I really think I am like officially out of chapters that I can edit until I finish those rewrites for earlier chapters and things that were going on. And then of course, rewriting the ending for this other POV. So in the last week, I ended up editing 20,207 words. I want to thank Sarah Sutton for this concept because this is not something that I would have come up with on my own. So I'm really glad that she made that goal so that I could like steal that goal a little bit and try it for myself. I feel really, really good with how this is going. When I started draft 6, my draft was on, I think it was 133,000 words. I'm now sitting at 125,000 words. So I have been cutting out words in the past couple days, which has been great. So the 20,000 words that I ended up working on this week is what, almost a sixth of my book, which is crazy. I really feel like I was able to get so much done and I feel like really, really good about this. I kind of wish I could continue at this pace, but with the rewriting and stuff that I have to do, I don't think that that's realistic. But I do think that this really gave me a boost of confidence in the ending of this book and is really going to help me continue to move forward. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end on this very long video. I really appreciate it. You've been watching this long, so if you have not already, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button because that really supports my channel. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.